I will wait until they depart.
Okay.
Wild shape
Andor and Joey.
into giant eagle.
All right.
Well,
The
I'll be a giant
eagle.
Yeah, I'll just be a giant eagle. If I turn into anything fucking weird, it might raise some alarms.
It's just like finally help's come. What is that?
Why is there a flying octopus coming at me?
So your angel wings go to spread and almost like triple in size. Your form shifts out into that of a giant eagle with a little halo on top.
Perfect. Ride me.
All Andor hears is,
Yeah, just,
Yeah, Andor will get on.
all right. Andor gets on the back of the giant eagle.
Music.
What would you like to do, giant eagle? Oh, thank you.
I will head over to where I saw the flare, and I'll keep really high up. Probably like 100 feet up.
Okay. You get up and fly up to the sky before beginning to coast in that direction. You see the expansive, jagged outline of this massive but strangely beautiful island. You fly that distance. How fast is a giant eagle?
Flying.
It's like 60 feet.
It's 80 feet.
80 feet, even better. Okay. You glide over for a time, and as you're flying along, are you doing anything along the way? Or doing anything once you get close to that area? Andor's got the right on. Perception check, please.
Do I get advantage with the telescope?
Sure, yeah. Makes sense. The telescopes are 4.
Jesus, that worked.
hey.
Oh!
Okay. Sorry, Pun, what were you going to say?
Nothing. Do I make one too, or just Andor?
If you're keeping an eye out, yeah, you can.
Yes. Not as great.
You gaze down and you notice that, like, between two of these kind of jagged mountains, it turns into, like, rocky cliffs. And one of these canyons that you noticed earlier, Joey, these large, jagged canyons filled with, like, these massive pillars of rock that seem to have naturally formed through some kind of erosion. It almost makes this almost, like, maze-looking series of pathways through it. And as you're looking through, and Joey notices as well, you see Joey notices a small figure making their way through the map, or through the canyon. You notice they're kind of they're making their way towards they're about halfway through. You notice, Andor, as you look down, you see Hassurian. The white, bright blonde hair, the chest plate, the light pale skin, and he is just like full sprints, like lean back, hiking legs, like running.
Andor's gonna just change a little bit to see is he running from anything.
You go and you look behind him, and there's a brief moment where the area where the canyon dips through and weaves around itself you can't quite see, and there's a corner that Hassurian has seemingly just come around. Wait a few seconds. A giant shape enters your frame, moving so fast it doesn't quite turn all the way, and instead slams into the side of the canyon. And then another massive shape continues along and collides with it as well. You see two massive reptile creatures standing on two legs hunched forward. The kind of speckled green feathers and scaly skin, these massive toothy maws, they collide with each other and seem to snap at each other for a moment before proceeding after Hassurian, who looks back and just continues. And
How far away from the boat are we in feet?
You are quite a ways. You're minutes away from the boat, not feet.
Oh fuck! Right.
It's a far, yeah.
We should go down. We should go down.
Joe, would I with this weight? Because I could only carry a Maria and a Pip, or an Andor and a Pip. Would I be able to pick him up and move at half speed?
You could, yeah.
Okay, what if I was using? Because I still have another key point so that I could dash, and then also use an action to dash. Can I make up for that and try to
You could. though
Get
I
him
will
up
warn
in the
you,
air.
The canyon and the pillars around it, it's narrow. There are places where you would be able to land, and there are places where your wingspan would not fit.
Okay. Andor, you're a liability on my back.
Well, I meant so, like, just
Well-
your eagle form in general.
Andor could grab him with the teleport thing if I get you close. Joey
What
will
you
get
guys doing?
closer. Joey will just
Okay,
get closer.
you begin-
We'll leave it to Andor.
You begin to dive and swoop down closer towards him. What are you doing, Andor?
Oh, fuck. Hold
I
on,
have
why
to
do
make
you have so little
decisions now.
spells? 'Cause-
Now's the time,
oh.
buddy. We're gonna use him. Use him.
You glance down, you see the small shape of Hassurian running since you're not in your telescope, and these two large green shapes making their way through, and you watch they are charging, slamming into each other, bits of the rock, large pieces of rocks, and some of these columns begin to shift or topple even as they seem to just be violently forcing their way through this tight canyon, whatever way they can. It's giving Hassurian distance. They're not catching up to him yet, but you see as they like pry through bits of stone and like shrug each other off, they continue to chase him. The eagle is diving closer. You can be like soon to be directly above him now, but there's the canyon between you and him. What do you wish to do?
Dimension door's out of the question because it's either okay. With what I'm gonna try and grab him and pull him up onto the eagle. I know I might make it slower. And with his other hand, he's gonna cast Wall of Fire between us and the T-Rexes.
Okay. So Joey, are you swooping in to get
Joey
close
will-
enough to him?
If Andor communicates that's the plan, Joey will swoop down to try and
Okay.
do that.
You swoop down, trying to narrow your wings and find a spot to successfully maneuver in and keep your flight. As these jagged paths that you're unfamiliar with will make it difficult. Let me see. Give me a dexterity check as your eagle.
+3.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
As you go swooping in, like you go and you see a spot where you can get him, and then just as you go to swoop in, you boom, like collide with a bit of the rock and spin slightly. Not spin, but stutter slightly. You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Let me get
I
my
don't know how much
calculator.
giant eagle health has. How much health does a giant eagle have, actually? I should know that.
26.
Okay, you have 20 left.
Yes.
As you collide with the rock, and you can either stay in the canyon, try and swoop and get closer to him, or you can fly up and out and look for a better spot. As you get down this close, you hear the ground rumbling, these monstrous reptilian creatures roaring at each other and at their prey. Not entirely seeming to take notice of the bird. Their sight seems focused downward at the moment. What do you wish to? You can, like I said, try and maneuver through or fly up and look for a better spot.
Joey will try to maneuver through.
Okay, make me another dexterity check.
Oh, that's even worse.
Can I give
Alright.
you inspiration?
You're not present at the moment.
You have to be there. Okay.
You take 9 more points of bludgeoning damage. You try and maneuver through, and as the creatures come rumbling through, a rock falls and kind of hits you, sends you spiraling a bit. On the second failure, you hit the ground of the canyon. You don't crash, but you are forced to land. And the
Okay.
ground is like rumbling. The stones are violently shaking. Bits of the rocks kind of tumble from the sides as the sound gets closer. And you actually see, as you like a distance off, maybe like 80 feet or so, he's running and he sees you and he turns and starts running towards you.
Real quick, if Maria was keeping an eye out on them, would she have been able to discern like any kind of like panic, like dive or anything?
No, you just notice the eagle start to fly down.
Okay.
Meanwhile, real quick, before we get into this scenario, what are you three doing for the message?
What you do, Zappa, is you rub it a little bit, you concentrate, and eventually it activates. And then you have 25 words, and that's it.
That's not
Easy.
that many words.
No, it's not. And I talk too much. Would you like to send this one? I'm sure he'd prefer to hear from you than me, too.
Zephyr looks, he's like, oh, I didn't know I was gonna have to do this. Hmm,
Only if you want to.
okay, I can try.
Yeah, here.
Puts it in your hand, and he puts your hand on top of it with Pip's little paw, like, on yours.
He'll go, hey, Azamor, we got to the island. I don't know what else we're supposed to do. You can let us know. You can respond to this message.
You can respond.
And as you form that, and you feel these words almost like you feel a weightiness to the stone as you focus on it and concentrate these words. And there is almost this distinct like snap where you go and try and send out that message and it doesn't go. And even though you're not familiar with the sending stone, you feel it. Something didn't work right.
What's wrong?
I think I messed it up. It didn't seem like it worked right. I don't know if it sent.
Could Pip, with being in close proximity to this event, know if the stone was activated?
He did everything needed to activate the stone. He spoke the message. He didn't do it wrong.
Yeah.
You did everything right. We, might be getting some interference.
Yeah. Well, we might just have to go to the tap to send it. So.
We may be on our own for a little while. Okay. I would like to go look at the weather vane, this magical thing, see if it can help me decipher either coming weather or time.
Okay. You go and start to discern that. Cutting back to I just wanted to get the message done real quick. Cutting back to you two, you're on the back of the eagle. You are on the ground in the middle of this canyon, rocks and pillars all around you. Hassurian is sprinting about 60 feet from you now, and about 40 feet behind him now, one of the creatures shoves its way into this portion. You see one of the pillars next to it kind of cracks and shifts to the side as it leans. The creature looking in, looks at the running Hassurian and looks up and makes eye contact almost with both of you before leaning forward and beginning to run.
Okay, very cool question. Has Andor cast his spell yet? Because if this whole thing happened before he cast the spell, plans would have changed.
That was the dimension door?
Wall
of Fire. No. That was not, because you were going to try and pick him up and do it, and Joey was not able to get a safe landing. You see him now, though.
Andor's going to turn to Joey and be, alright, get the fuck out of here now. He'll jump off and then start running towards... what's his name? Hassurian?
Hassurian.
Hassurian, yes.
Alright, Joey's taking off.
Okay. I'll say, if you're just going to find a place straight up, you can go and make your way up and out, and you kind of get a look down. Andor, you will be able to reach Hassurian, you think, before the creatures will. Though you do see, 40 feet to the other side, seeming around a different bend, the other creature has arrived with this deep guttural T-Rex roar. It bellows out, shaking the cavern around as it begins to push forward. Hassurian is and you yourself find yourself sprinting towards him as well. And yeah, he runs to you, and you meet, and the creatures are close. What are you doing?
I just immediately grab by the fucking vest and dimension door 500 feet as close to the bow as I can get us.
Okay, you grab him, and before you have a chance to say anything, you concentrate your dimension door. Nothing happens. That's alright. It's what do we do? Run! He looks back. Yeah, there's just the pause where you both look, and the creature is still going, and you're now both side by side, running next to each other as you begin to take off. This is going to be a skill challenge between the two of you.
No.
And Pun, if you wish to help, you may do so. Essentially,
Andor's just gonna stab into Hassurian's foot.
oh, that would be so fucked. No. So as you guys are running through this narrow ravine, making progress, making your way through, Joey, air support, you see he grabs him. Nothing happens. They look at each other and both take off running.
You know,
Fantastic.
Kawhi, you could say as well, you have a bird's eye view.
You do. So, I need to know, this is a skill challenge. You, Hassurian, Andor, Joey, and Hassurian, each of you have to select a skill you wish to use to help avoid this unfortunate circumstance. AKA, the skills you would need to successfully make your way out of the ravine to Joey or just to a safe place. And so it could be, Joey, you could be guiding them, helping distract the creatures, anything else you can think of that might help them forward. Meanwhile, Andor and Hassurian, whatever skills you are using to try and make your way forward. What skill are you thinking, Andor? And describe to me, when you pick your skill, how it is helping you forward.
I'm just gonna go real basic here and just use an acrobatics, try to navigate this ravine as quickly and as fluently as possible. Try to make this as efficient as possible.
Okay. Go ahead and make that check. 25. That succeeds. And worth noting, skill challenges, something I'm trying to introduce into this game. I'm going to figure out how some of y'all might have heard of them. Essentially, from these checks, there's a DC based on the skill you use and its relevance to the situation. If you succeed, you gain a success. If you fail, gain a failure. If you succeed the number of times needed, you complete the encounter. If you don't, a different kind of encounter unfolds. Hassurian has already gotten one success with athletics. Andor, as he is pushing forward and you help guide him through these tight spaces, going through these narrow passageways that the creatures seem to run into and have to go around, gaining you some purchase. That is your second success. Joey, what are you doing?
Joey will, from the top view, is it like a straight shot in this canyon, or is there turns?
There are turns.
Okay.
But it does eventually lead out to the kind of the forest plains area that you saw surrounding the lake.
Alright, Joey's gonna try to lead him down the one path with the most amount of turns so that these dinos are hitting the edges as much as possible
Okay.
to slow them down.
It's a great idea. Give me what skill are you wishing to use?
Perception.
Perception? Go for it. You have advantage, because eagle.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
we'll do it again. Okay.
Hey!
Okay.
For 16.
That, unfortunately, is a failure. As you are doing your best, flapping over, and you're trying to focus on them, and as you go and look down, there's areas where you can't quite see the bottom, there's areas where you're having trouble seeing if it's wide enough for them to get through, and you aren't able to successfully lead them forward. That is one failure. You have 2 successes, 1 failure. New round. Andor, is there another skill you're using to contribute? And worth noting, skill checks. The same skill cannot be used twice. So what else
Yes.
do you have in your bag?
This is so stupid. Andor is going to look at his fucking cantrips. Nothing. Cantrips won't even work. He is going to try and turn around as quickly as possible, look at them, and just yell, "Fuck off, you lizard bastards!" and then try to run back away. He'll try to intimidate them into fucking off.
That's going to be with disadvantage, but you can roll the intimidation check. As you just, fuck off! As they just roar back at you and continue pushing forward.
19.
19! Let me check something
Oh my
real quick.
goodness.
Unfortunately, though, you shout at them and they stop for a moment. You're like, did I do it? And they look at each other, look at you, just deep guttural roars as they push forward. That is your second, just barely failure.
Wow.
As you got them to halt for a moment and look confused. Joey, do you have another skill you wish to use?
Can I try to push some shit over onto the dinos?
Absolutely. What skill do you wish to use?
Athletics.
Okay, go ahead.
What did Hassurian do?
Oh.
He is rolling his at the same time, so it depends on if they both fail, we have a problem. If one of them succeeds, okay. Joey, as you go and you're not weighty enough, or you don't have the momentum to push these large columns over, but you go and begin shuffling boulders onto these creatures as you see them rushing through. You see that some of them impact, but they don't seem to really slow the creatures down. That is the next failure. However, meeting the DC on the dot, Hassurian is like looking. You see, he starts looking at the ground, and like Andor, you just as you're running, you go to go one way, he grabs your neck and goes the other way, and like yanks you this way, and he's just running, and like he doesn't say anything. He just is dragging you in certain directions. You go to question, he's like, "Run now, talk later." Go through, and eventually, as the creatures get close, you watch as they both like round a corner, come after you, and they both slam into each other and like nosedive forward. As they do, they slam into pillars. The cracks begin to form, rocks begin to fall and drop. One of them hits one of the creatures on the head. It roars painfully and backs up. Another pillar kind of falls, partially blocking the path forward. The creatures back up, partially stunned, and just in that moment, you are able to sprint forward and get at least to the area where the canyon is not as dense. And there is open sky above. Joey, you see the two of them making their way out as a cloud of dust forms about 60 feet behind him from the creatures. What do you wish to do?
Joey will try to pick him up.
Yep. You swoop down just as like the cloud of dust rolls up behind them. Pick them both up. Just with your claws, hands. They're just both dangling from your talons. Like both Andor, like, yo, your arms are burning for one, but also you're both just like breathing heavily, sweat pouring down your faces.
So, Zappa, do you think they had some tea or something?
Yeah, probably. They were probably just hanging out. That's why they're taking so long. He probably found something to drink and it was really good.
Okay.
And Zappa will take his short rest.
Yeah.
Fucking bastards.
I will do the same.
For sure.